Hello, my name is Emma. I am a very mixed media artist. I've done a little bit of everything, but for the BFA, I'm mostly working with screen printing and sculpture. I also work with found objects and furniture to explore themes of home and domestic spaces. I'm really interested in exploring kind of how different homes shape us over time. These are some of my works from before the BFA. I was very drawn to printmaking. I love the process and repeatability of the medium. I also took a lot of sculpture classes, so I came into the BFA very excited to find a way to mix the two. I also wanted to include a few artist influences that I had. The ceramics on the left are by Genesis Ballinger. She uses concepts of the strange but familiar to make uncanny ceramics that I was very drawn to. And the furniture on the right is by Hugh Hayden, and I was very inspired by the concept of disrupting a place of rest. These were probably my first small experiments from fall quarter. Using tracing paper, I made rubbings of different textures in my home. I like that out of context, the familiar can become more abstracted, and I'm including these in the presentation because I end up using them as screen printing stencils later on. These are some of my first ever ceramic pieces. After studying Genesis Ballinger's work, I wanted to play around with taking the chair, which is such a familiar place of rest, and manipulating them to become more uncanny. I was really excited by the addition of ceramics. After the chairs, I played around with making ceramic and wooden chain link spoons. I've made just purely wooden chain link spoons in the past, and I love the dysfunctionality of them. I want to convey a lack of functionality in the home as part of my body of work, reflecting on past living situations. Moving into some screen print experiments from the fall quarter, I continued to be inspired by manipulating the chair. I enjoyed playing around with the addition of branches to the chair, and although these won't go into my final show, they inspired me to create 3D versions of the chairs with branches later on. From the start of this project, I knew I wanted to do something with the fridge door. Looking at what people choose to display on it, going into many homes, I always enjoyed what different households displayed on their fridges, and I feel like you can tell a lot about a community from it. And I really enjoy that they tend to be a place of preservation and memorabilia. I decided I wanted to do kind of an unconventional surface design for the fridge. I did some experiments on cardboard, spray painting over paper doilies using them as a stencil, and really liked the way it looked, and so kind of went for it and made kind of the base for a table setting on the fridge. After I decided to flip the ideas on what would go on the fridge and make it a table setting instead, I screen printed chain link silverware to continue concepts and imagery of the dysfunctional. And since I won't be displaying memorabilia on the fridge anymore, I'm thinking of using the table as an opportunity for that. This is a door that I thrifted that was initially intended to be displayed on the wall. Enjoying flipping the orientation of aspects in the home, I decided to make it a tabletop instead. The table setting is going to be inspired by kind of that initial phase of moving in with friends for the first time. I want to showcase the mismatch of aesthetics and combinations of personalities in a home, and I thought the 3 windows would be a good opportunity for prints, and so I mimicked the 3 bedrooms of me and 2 of my roommates' homes from a past living situation, and I kind of want the table settings to reflect those personalities as well. And to go along with the table setting, I wanted to bring those dysfunctional branch chairs to life. And so using wire and clay and popcorn ceiling as a texture, I started making these 3 chairs. I wanted to do it in a set of 3 to kind of represent 3 roommates, and I also thought it would be fun to have the branches getting bigger as I went along, kind of representing different stages of growth. With the placement of the branches on the seats, I wanted to just lightly disrupt the seat so it does still feel like something you want to sit in, but you can't. These are also 3 cabinet doors that I thrifted that I'm turning into windows. I want to use this as another opportunity to display prints and fill up the wall space and make it feel more like a home, but I'm still toying around with the imagery that will be used for those. And then after making the chairs, I felt like the surface design felt a little bland and flat in comparison. So I've been doing some experiments with spackle and piping bags to add more of a 3D element to the fridge. I will be kind of piping cake designs around each of the doilies and the place settings. And I want to use, I've been looking at vintage cookbooks, and I want kind of vintage desserts and cakes to go inside the table setting. The cake can be used as a symbol for affection and care, but it's kind of canceled out by the idea of how artificial they are. And then going into final steps, I will be making some mugs to kind of mirror the dysfunctionality of codependency, to kind of mirror those roommate dynamics. And then I also made a little model just so you guys can get a better idea of how I envision this project looking at the end. I want to fill out the wall space with some more prints, possibly some more doilies as well to kind of tie it in with the table setting, and also adding kind of a trim that I will be printing at the top to kind of tie it together. I also bought this rug that kind of mirrors kind of a green grass turf. And I also will be adding more branches to the table legs. And I also plan on adding really long chain link silverware kind of snaking around